Good morning, all of you. Welcome to Sri Jayendra Rank Zone. Now we are dealing with the lecture number 6 of atomic structure. So in the previous lecture, we discussed about Schrodinger wave equation and quantum numbers. And from Schrodinger wave equation, we got quantum numbers as well as orbitals concept. The probability of finding the electron is maximum is called an orbital. And orbitals, we have s orbitals, p orbitals, d orbitals, f orbitals. Now we are going to discuss the shapes of these orbitals. That is boundary surface diagram shapes of atomic orbitals. The boundary surface diagram is a region of constant probability density of orbitals. For a given orbital, the boundary surface diagram is the volume in which the probability of the finding electron is high, that is 90%. So this is called probability of finding the electron is very high in the orbital boundary surface diagram. So the boundary surface diagrams gives the shape of the atomic orbitals. So these boundary surface diagrams gives the shape of the atomic orbitals. Let us see what are the shapes of atomic orbitals. So shapes of s orbitals. The shape of s orbital is spherical in shape. As the principal quantum number increases, the size of the orbital also increases. The shape of 1s orbital and 2s orbital is shown here. So 3s, 4s, and so on. So 1s orbital size is this much and 2s orbital. Anyway, the shape of the s orbital is spherical in shape. As the orbital number, that is principal quantum number, increases, the s orbital size increases. Not the shape. Shape is same, but the size of the orbital increases. If you see that carefully, for 1s orbital and 2s orbital, the size you can compare. So this is called s orbital. So what is the shape of s orbital? It is spherical in shape. Next, p orbital. The shape of p orbital is dumbbell in shape. Dumbbell means, you know, this dumbbell you'll use in gym. So they are just like dumbbells. The nucleus is at the origin and the dumbbell is oriented in 3 directions, that is px, py, and pz orbitals. So in p orbitals, we already know it has 3 suborbitals. What are those? Px orbital, py orbital, and pz orbital. So the shape of the p orbital is dumbbell shape. You can see here. So 3 axes x, y, and z. So it is pz, px, and py. This is the dumbbell shape is on the x-axis. Then it is called px orbital. If the dumbbell shape is on the z-axis, it is called pz orbital. And if the dumbbell shape is on the y-axis, it is called py orbital. I hope this is clear. Next, we have shapes of d orbitals. The shape of d orbital is double dumbbell. The shape of, and it has 5 orbitals already we know. What are the 5 suborbitals of subshells of d orbital? dxy, dyz, dzx, and dx square minus y square are similar, but dx square has orbital of different shape because it has no double dumbbell. It has different shape because same axis 2 times it is overlapping. So you can see the diagram for this. So dxy, this is the diagram for dxy, and dxz, dyz, dx square minus y square. And if you see here, dz square is different. This shape is dz square is different. It is also just like dumbbell shape, but it is not double dumbbell, only dumbbell shape. That's why it has different shape. And you have a center. At center you have a ring also. So at the center you have a ring and you have 1 dumbbell. And here we have 2 dumbbells. dx square minus y square. We have 2 dumbbells. dxy also double dumbbell. dxz double dumbbell. dyz double dumbbell. So these 4 are 1, 2, 3, 4 are double dumbbell, whereas dz square is different. So this diagram is very, very important. So dxy will have the dumbbell is on the z-axis as well as x-axis and y-axis. So you can see the difference clearly. I hope this is clear for you. So this is called shapes of d orbitals. So all the orbitals diagrams they will not ask. Just you should know this. Next we have next topic in this chapter, electronic configurations. So we have successfully seen shapes of orbitals, s orbital, p orbital, and d orbital. Now we'll see next topic in this chapter. So energy of atomic orbitals in hydrogen atom. So energy levels is very, very important. From these energy levels only we can write electronic configuration. The top I'm writing here. If you know the energy levels, you know how many electrons can each energy level filled up. So if you know the energy levels, we can write electronic configuration of an element. Electronic configuration of an element. So this energy level is very, very important. and you should know the elements up to 1 to 40. From element 1 to 40, electron configuration compulsory. Then only you can write, you can answer many questions in the competitive exams. You can understand it easily. So the energy of electron in hydrogen atom is determined by the principal quantum number n. The different orbitals in the same energy shell will have same energy. Such orbitals of same energy are known as degenerate orbitals. Underline these degenerate orbitals. So the different orbitals in the same energy shell will have same energy. So if two orbitals are having same energy, they are said to be degenerate orbitals. Degenerate orbitals means orbitals are having same energy. Orbitals of same energy are known as degenerate orbitals. The order of energy of various orbitals in hydrogen atom is given by 1s is less than 2s is equal to 2p is equal less than 3s. So 2s and 2p is called degenerate orbital because principal quantum number is same. 3s, 3p, 3d, then 4s, 4p, 4d, 4f, and so on. So is equal to represents the degenerate orbitals. Next we have energy of atomic orbitals in multi-electron atom. So that is only hydrogen atom. Now we have multi-electron atom. The energy of electron in an orbital is determined by the principal quantum number and azimuthal quantum number. So energy of electron in an orbital is determined by the principal quantum number as well as azimuthal quantum number. The electron experiences attractive forces from the nucleus and repulsive forces from other electrons. So as they have similar charge, they will repel each other. And these electrons are attracted towards the nucleus since nucleus is positively charged. So the electrons experience attractive forces from the nucleus and repulsive forces from other electrons. Outer shell electrons do not experience the complete attractive force of the nucleus due to screening effect. Here the screening effect is important. So the outermost electrons does not have the attraction of nucleus because they are far from the nucleus, and the inner electrons will be screened for outer electrons. So that due to screening effect, the outer shell electrons do not experience the complete attractive force of the nucleus. I hope this is clear. Next. What is screening effect or shielding effect? The electrons in the inner shells shield the outer electrons. Shield is nothing but cover. Your shield means what? Cover. So they cover the outer electrons from the attractive force of the nucleus, which is commonly called as shielding effect. The net positive charge experienced by the electron in the outer shell is known as effective nuclear charge. This is called what? Effective nuclear charge. If the effective nuclear charge is less, the electron lies very far from the nucleus and hence have a higher energy. So the electrons which are far from the nucleus, they have naturally higher energy because their principal quantum number becomes more. I hope this is clear now. So this is called shielding effect. Again repeating, the electrons in the inner shells shield the outer electrons from the attractive force of the nucleus, which is commonly called as screening effect or shielding effect. So this you will observe in certain elements, and due to this shielding effect or screening effect also, we have so many consequences that we'll discuss in the next chapter. But here, what is shielding effect only we have to discuss. So that's what I'm discussing now. So the electrons in the inner shells cover the outer electrons from the attractive force of the nucleus, from the attractive forces of the nucleus. This is called as shielding effect or screening effect. Next, N plus L rule. Very, very important. Mark important over here. N plus L rule. An orbital with a lower value of N plus L has a lower energy. So based on N plus L values, we can write about the orbital values. So simply this is N plus L rule is very, very important. So why 1s is less than 2s? Because of N plus L value is less. So an orbital with a lower value of N plus L has a lower energy. If two orbitals have same value of N plus L, then the orbital with a lower principal quantum number, N will have lower energy. Very, very important. Just second line if you see, if two orbitals have same value of N plus L, then the orbital with lower principal quantum number, N will have lower energy. For example, if you take 3s and 2p, 3s and 2p, N plus L value is 3s. For N plus L value is how much for 3s orbital? N is equal to 3, L is equal to 1. So 3 plus 0, L is equal to 0. So 3 plus 0 is 3. Whereas for 2p orbital, 2 plus 1, L is equal to 1, 3 orbital. So both are having 3 N plus L values. But which is having lesser energy, the orbital with lower principal quantum. That's why 2p is less than 3s. 2p is less than 3s. I hope this you can understand clearly. So the orbital with the lower principal quantum number n will have lower energy if two orbitals have same n plus l values. So the order of energy, this is very, very important. All these orders, you have to write the same. This order is only based on Aufbau principle. And what is n plus l rule? An orbital with a lower value of n plus 1 has lower energy, and orbital with higher value of n plus l has higher energy. So this is the final order for writing electronic configuration of atoms. So we can write electronic configuration of all the elements up to 100. We can write up to 7s also. It is given. This order is very, very important. So I am underlining this order. Just see it clearly. You have to remember this order compulsory. So 1s, 2s, 2p, 3s, 3p, 4s, 3d, 4p, 5s, 4d, 5p, 6s, 4f, 5d, 6p, 7s. For example, if you see 1s, we can fill 2 electrons. 2s, 2, 4. 2p, 6, 10. 3s, 2, 12. 3p, 6. So it is total 18, 20, 30. Up to 4D only. 3D, if you completely filled up 3D, we can have up to 30 electrons, means 30 elements. So, and so on. Like this, you can fill up. So this energy level diagram is most important. So if you don't know this energy level diagram, you cannot write the electronic configuration properly. And if you don't write electronic configuration properly, you will get wrong properties. And even you'll have different, many questions are based on electronic configuration. So what are the different types of questions based on electronic configuration? We'll discuss later when it comes. Now, I hope this is clear for you. This is called N plus L rule. Next, electron distribution in multi-electron atom. So for hydrogen atom, we have seen because it contains only one electron. But what about remaining elements? We have to follow electron distribution in multi-electron atom. So the filling of electrons in various atomic orbitals of an atom takes place according to the following principles. So based on these three guidelines, what are those three? First one is Aufbau principle. Second one is Pauli's exclusion principle. Pauli's exclusion principle. Third one is Hund's rule of maximum multiplicity or Hund's rule of maximum multiplicity. Both are same, and depending on the pronunciation we can do. So based on these three, so how the electrons are filled in an atom or in an element based on three principles. What are those? First one, Aufbau principle. Second one, Pauli's exclusion principle. Third one, Hund's rule of maximum multiplicity. So based on these three, we can fill the electrons accordingly. We can fill the electrons accordingly in the particular orbitals. So next we have, what is Aufbau principle? In the ground state, the electrons fill up in the various orbitals in the increasing order of the energy of the orbitals. So electrons are filled up in the various orbitals in the increasing order of energy of orbitals. You can see first one S, next 2s, next it has 2p, next 3s, next it has 3p, next we have 4s, next we have 3d. So this diagram you can understand. So just how this diagram going, like this only you have to convert like this and so on. Like this it will go. So like this it will go. So first is 1s, second is 2s, next is 2p, next 3s, 3p, 3s, 3d. After 3p, 4s, we have 3d, then 4p, then 5s, then 4d, 5p, then 6s. This order is very, very important. So this table is most important. So what is Aufbau principle? In the ground state means normal state. The electrons fill up in the various orbitals in the increasing order of energy of the orbitals. So this is called Aufbau principle. Next, what is Pauli's exclusion principle? According to this principle, no two electrons in an atom can have the same set of 4 quantum numbers. No two electrons in an atom can have the same set of 4 quantum numbers. This principle can also be stated as only 2 electrons can occupy an orbital, and the 2 electrons should have opposite spins. That's why their quantum numbers are not similar, because one electron spin is plus half, another electron spin is minus half. Even though their n value, L value, M value is same, but they have different spin quantum number. So in an orbital, electrons can have same values of n, L, and M, but different values of spin quantum number. So this is called Pauli's exclusion principle. Next, Hund's rule of maximum multiplicity. According to this rule, pairing of electrons in the orbital takes place only only, so pairing of electrons in the orbitals takes place only when all the electrons and all the subshells, that is orbitals, are filled up in the each box. For example, you can see here, pairing of electrons in the orbitals belonging to the same subshell does not take place until each orbital of equal energy is occupied with one electron each. Each orbital with, so this is very, very important in this case. By this, we can write fill up the pairing of electrons. So in p subshell, the fourth electron gets paired up with the first electron. So you can see here, I'll draw one box here. First electron, second electron, third electron. Then fourth electron will start pairing. So I'm drawing one box here for p electron. So p will have three subshells. One is, I'm showing it here, how the electrons are filled up. So px, py, pz. Px, py, and pz. So suppose, for example, first three electrons, how they'll fill up according to the rule, that is Hund's rule of maximum multiplicity. Pairing up only takes place when all the electrons in the degenerate orbitals are filled first. When all the electrons are in the degenerate orbitals are filled first. So for example here, first electron will go in px with upward arrow. Second electron will go to py. Third electron will go to pz. Right, straight. So px, first electron. Second electron will go to py. Third electron will occupy pz. Next, fourth electron will start pairing. Fifth electron, sixth electron. The same way D also will go like this only. First five electrons will will be filled up. Afterwards, sixth electron will be paired with first electron. Seventh electron will be paired with second electron. Eighth electron will be paired with third electron. Ninth electron will be paired with fourth electron, and 10th electron will be paired with fifth electron. So in this way, this is called Hund's rule of maximum multiplicity. Because this pairing, if you don't know this pairing, we cannot write spin quantum number properly. Suppose if I ask for 2p4, what is the value of spin quantum number? 2p4 means fourth electron. So fourth electron is, what is the spin here? It's a downward spin. So if you don't know that fourth electron is pairing up like this, it is coming downward spin. So since fourth electron is downward spin, we can say S is equal to minus half. S is equal to minus half, that is spin quantum number for fourth electron. Fifth electron also minus half. Sixth electron also minus half. First electron plus half. Second electron plus half. Third electron plus half. So upward arrow is plus half. Downward arrow is minus half. So the spin quantum numbers for 1, 2, 3 electrons. Yes, next line I'm writing. This is S is equal to minus 1 half for 4, 5, 6 electrons in p orbital. For 4, 5, 6 electrons. This S value is same for 4, 5, 6 electron. Whereas S value is plus half. S is equal to plus half. And the spin quantum number is equal to plus half for 1, 2, 3 electrons because they are upward arrows. No pairing takes place. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The D orbital also the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then 1, 2, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So pairing starts only the sixth electron gets paired up with first electron. So I hope this is clear. Next. This is called Hund's rule of maximum multiplicity. Now examples. Which are the following set of quantum numbers for an electron is possible? Following set of quantum numbers. This type of questions are important for competitive exams. Which is possible they are asking. So first case, if you see first option, n is equal to 3, L is equal to 0 means it is 3s orbital. If L is equal to 0, M cannot be 1. So first option is not possible because M cannot be 1 for L is equal to 0. If L is equal to 0, M is only 0. So second option, if you see n is equal to 2, L is equal to 1. So 2, it is possible. L is equal to 1 means 2p orbital. M is can be 0, it is possible. S can be minus half also, it is possible. Similarly, n is equal to 4, L is equal to 3. N is equal to 4, it is fourth orbital, fourth orbit, 4. And L is equal to 3, D orbit, 4D. So m can be -2 and so on. Similarly, n is equal to 1. And fourth option you see here again, if n is equal to 1, L cannot be 1. So A and D are wrong. So fourth option is also wrong. So it is L is equal to 1, N is equal to 1. So for N is equal to 1, L can be only 0. So N and L cannot be equal. L cannot be 1. So N and L cannot be equal. So first and fourth is wrong. So set of quantum numbers for an electron is possible, they are asking. So second and third is possible, and first and second is not possible. So A is not possible, B and C only possible, and D is also not possible. So I hope this is clear. Next question. And the following electrons with the given set of quantum numbers in the increasing order of energy. This is based on increasing order of energy means Sabo principle. So for the first one, I'm writing A1. A is 3. So L is equal to 0 means it should be 3s. So A is 3s. Here I'm writing again. A is equal to 3s. B is equal to 4s because n is equal to 4, L is equal to 0. And C is equal to 3D because L is equal to 2. And D is equal to 3P. Just straight away we can write the orbitals now based on n plus L values. So n plus L value for 3s is equal to how much? 3 because n plus L is equal to 0. So n plus L, find here n plus L first. N plus L value for 3s. So it is 0 and it is n plus L value. It is not 0, 3 because L is equal to 0, n is equal to 3, n plus L becomes 3. Next 4. Next again 3 plus 2, 5. Next 3p, 4. So we have two degenerate orbitals. We have what? Two degenerate orbitals having equal levels. Anyway, 3, 5, 4. So highest increasing order means first is 3s, that is A. A is less than, straight away I'm writing here, not 3s. So A is less than, A is less than. Now in between B and C, we have to check B and C. Here n plus L value for B is 4 and D is also 4. So that is second option, fourth option are same. That is 4 and 4. So in case of the orbital with lower principal quantum number is taken as preference. So 3p is less. So definitely we have to write because orbital with lower principal quantum number. So principal quantum number is 3 for this 3p, whereas for this 4. So lower quantum number will have lower energy. So A is less than D, D is less than B, then finally it is C, less than C, because C is having 5. So this is the order. A is less than, D is less than, B is less than C. So you can check the answer. A is less than, D is less than, B is less than C. This is called arrangement of increasing order of energy. Next we have next concept. I'm just sharing the slides. So electronic configuration of atoms, very, very important. How to fill the electrons. So already we have seen the orbital diagram, SPD. So the distribution of electrons in various orbitals of an atom is known as electronic configuration of atom. The electronic configuration is expressed in two ways: S power A, P power B, D power C notation, and second one is orbital diagram, called orbital diagram. So orbital diagram only for writing quantum numbers we have to use, but only electronic configuration we have to write S power A, P power B, and D power C. So this is called orbital configuration. So this already we have shown in the how the electrons are filled up in particular orbitals. So that also we have shown. Now we'll see electronic configuration of atoms. So SPD, S power A, P power B, D power C notation is very simple. This only will follow. For example, in this type of notation, the subshell is represented with its symbol and the number of electrons is written as superscript. Number of electrons is written as superscript. To represent the subshells of different main shell, principal quantum number is used. So principal quantum number is used for subshells and azimuthal quantum number is used for S and P and so on. So example, atomic number of oxygen is 8 and you know energy levels 1s, 2s, 2p, and because 2p can take maximum 6 electrons, so we have only 4 electrons in oxygen in p orbital. So the answer configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p4. 1s2, 2s2, 2p4. Because atomic number of oxygen is 8, it means it has only 8 electrons. We have to fill up the electrons according to their energy levels. We have to fill up the electrons according to the energy levels following n plus L rule. Following n plus L rule. So it is 1s2, 2s2, 2p4. I hope it is clear. So all the electron configurations is important. Whereas orbital diagram for the same oxygen atom, if we take 1s, we have 2 electrons. First one up one, second one downward arrow. 2s, we have 2 electrons. First one up, second one downward arrow. 2p, we have 4 electrons. So 1, 2, 3. Afterwards, pairing will be taking place. 2p. So in this way, we have pair up the electrons. So the electron configuration, this is the orbital diagram for writing electron configuration of oxygen atom. So for all the things, we cannot write the orbital diagrams. It will take more time. So only electronic configuration is important. But you know how the electrons are filled in orbital diagrams. From that, we can write quantum numbers easily. Otherwise, you will get wrong quantum numbers. Next. So electronic configuration of 3 to 10 elements, 1s2, 2s1, 1s2, 2s2, 1s2, 2p, 2s2, 2p1. So I already told you 1 to 40 elements you have to remember electronic configuration. Means you have to, if you remember the energy levels, automatically you can write all the electrons because it's very simple. S can take maximum 2 electrons, P can take maximum 6 electrons, and D can take maximum 10 electrons, depending on the availability. For example, in the first case, it is atomic number 3. So 1s2, 1s orbital is completely filled and 2s orbital is partially filled because it is 2s1 only because we have only 3 electrons. Next we have 1s2, 2s2, 1s2, 2s2, p1 and so on. So I hope this you can understand easily by seeing the diagrams. Next. So before going to that, one more topic I want to discuss with this. So if you see here 2p1, so electron starts pairing with no pairing, only one electron. For this spin quantum number is plus of 2p2, 2 electrons, 2p3, 1, 2, 3. Then it starts pairing. We cannot write 2p2 here itself, 2 electrons. Here itself in the first orbital, we cannot write 2 electrons. That is wrong. So in this way, this is based on Hund's rule of maximum multiplicity. So pairing of electron takes place only once all the electrons in the degenerate orbitals are filled first. All the electrons in the degenerate orbitals are filled first, then only pairing start takes place. For example, you can see for 2p4, oxygen is paired with the fourth electron of is paired with first electron. Fifth electron will pair second electron. Sixth electron will pair third electron, and so on. In case of D, also the same way. I hope this you can understand because that problem will not arise in s orbitals because it had only 2 electrons. But for p orbital and d orbital, you should be very careful for writing because from that we can write number of unpaired electrons also. Next, after argon, the electron starts filling up 4s subshell before 3d shell because after calcium, the electrons into 3d orbital. So these two things very important. After argon, the electron starts filling up 4s subshell before 3d. First 4s, then 3d. Next we have, because of inert pair effect, next we have after calcium, the electrons into 3d subshell. From scandium to zinc, the electrons progressively filled up to 3d subshell. So these are the rules for writing electron configuration. First 4s, then 3d. First 4s and then 3d. So after argon, after argon, the electron starts filling up 4s electrons instead of 3d electrons because they belong different have properties. They have different properties. That's why they are placed in d subshell. Next. Exceptional configuration of chromium and copper. Very, very important. They'll ask in the examination also. Chromium is expected to have configuration of argon that is 18, 3d4, 4s2. 3d4, 4s2. Because chromium atomic number is 24, argon is 18. So remaining 6 electrons has to fill in this way. That is 4s2 and 3d4. But it has unusual configuration that is 3d5, 4s1 because half-filled d orbitals are more stable than half-filled and completely filled orbitals are more stable than incompletely filled orbitals. So due to this higher stability of half-filled and completely filled subshells, D will take the position of 5 and S will take position of 1. So this is the exact configuration. This is not exit state configuration, only ground state configuration of chromium because every atom will want to become stable. So they'll try to become stability. So one electron in 4s orbital is shifted to D orbital. Then the new configuration becomes argon 3d by 4s1. Underline this, very, very important. Argon 3d5 4s1. So this is most important. You have to remember the ground state configuration of chromium is argon 3d5 4s1. This is ground state only. Don't think it is excited state. It is ground state configuration. The same thing you'll observe in copper also. For copper, actually, you should get 3d9 4s1, 4s2. For copper, you will get instead 3d of 3d argon 3d9 4s2 because copper atomic number is 29. Instead of argon 3d9 4s2, you'll get argon 3d10 4s1 because half filled and completely filled. Here it is half filled and completely filled. In the first case, both are half filled, they are stable. Second case, one is half filled, one is completely filled. That is, s orbital is half filled because s can take maximum 2 electrons, and d orbital is completely filled because d electrons can take maximum 10 electrons. D orbital can take maximum 10 electrons. So second case, argon 3d10 4s1. Due to this, copper will take, this is the ground state configuration of copper. Here also, this is the ground state configuration of copper. It is not excited state. So for confusion sake, they'll give excited state and ground state. So it is always ground state only. So remember this point. This slide is very, very important. Definitely you'll get question. So chromium and copper has unusual electron configuration than the regular one because of half filled and completely filled subshells. The higher stability is due to half filled and completely filled subshells. Next. Stability of half-filled and completely filled orbitals. The half-filled and completely filled atomic orbitals have higher stable than the other atomic orbitals in the same subshell. This is due to two factors. What are those? Symmetrical distribution of electrons and exchange of energy. Symmetrical distribution of electrons and exchange of energy. So due to these two factors only, half-filled and completely filled atomic orbitals have higher stability than the other atomic orbitals in the same subshell. Next. So a symmetrical arrangement of electrons always leads to more stability. If an arrangement of electrons is symmetrical, then it is more stable because as they are very symmetrical, they are more attractive with each other. So it's very difficult to remove that electron. That's why it is more stable. Electrons in the same subshell, when symmetrically filled with electrons, the shielding of one of the other is relatively small. See here, second point, electrons in the same subshell, when symmetrically filled with electrons, the shielding of one on the other is relatively small. Whereas the electrons are attracted strongly by the nucleus and they are more stable. As I told you, since they are arranged in symmetrical, they have stronger attraction force, due to which it's very difficult to remove the electron in that arrangement. So that's why they are more stable. Next, the electrons with same spin and same subshell can undergo exchange of their positions. Same spin means S is equal to either plus half or minus half. So the energy released during this exchange of the position of electrons is known as exchange energy. So these are two factors. One is symmetrical arrangement, second one is exchange energy. So the electrons with same spin in the same subshell can undergo exchange of their positions because of the same energy. And the energy released during this exchange of the position of the electrons is known as exchange energy. When the orbitals are half filled or completely filled, the number of exchanges is maximum, and hence maximum exchange energy leads to maximum stability. Maximum stability. So these are the two factors. One is exchange of energy, and second one is symmetrical distribution. So that's why half filled and completely filled orbitals are more stable than other atomic orbitals because of exchange of energy between them. Maximum exchange takes place, and second one is symmetrical distribution. I hope this is clear. These two reasons they can ask in the board exam, in the competitive exam. They can ask in the competitive exam by giving statement based question. So I hope this is clear for you. Next, now question example. Now, which atom is represented by the following electron configuration? Straight away, they are giving atomic numbers. So helium is atomic number, helium is 2 and 2s to 2p3. So after 2, we have total how many are there? 2 plus 3, 5. So 5 plus 2, total 7. So this should be nitrogen. A is what? Nitrogen. And nitrogen, NiTiO. Ni means nickel, it will come. Actually, nitrogen, I want to say. That's why I have written nitrogen. Symbol is N. Next, second one, argon. Argon is already 18. After 18, we have 10 plus 2, 12. So it is 30. 30 means copper. No, not copper, zinc. Sorry. Zinc. Zinc is equal to atomic number 30. And next we have 3d5 4s2. After argon, it has 7. So it is 25. is nothing but 18 plus 7, 25. 25 means manganese. Next, after neon, it has 5. So neon means 10. 10 after 2 plus 5, 7. 17 means chlorine. So these are the elements. So first one, you can know nitrogen, zinc, manganese, and fluorine. No, it is not fluorine, it is chlorine. It was printed wrong. So change it into chlorine because neon is already 10. 10 plus 7, it is CHLORINE. So this is called chlorine. So please correct it. Next. Write the electronic configuration of the following ions: calcium, sulfur, magnesium, and H minus. Electronic configuration. See, Ca plus 2. Ca plus 2 means it has lost 2 electrons. So actually calcium atomic number is 20 means it has 20 protons, 20 electrons. But out of 20 electrons, 2 electrons have been lost. So the final answer becomes, and the 2 electrons will be from 4s, not from 3d. So it should be for 18. You can write the configuration 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6. And 4s2 actually. After 3p, it should go to 4s2, but the 2 electrons is been gone because it is losing because they are asking calcium ions, not for calcium atom. So total should be 18. So here also 18. We got 2 plus 2, 4, 4 plus 6, 10, 10 plus 2, 12, 12 plus 6, 18. So this is the atomic configuration of calcium, electronic configuration of calcium ion. Next B, sulfur 2 minus. Sulfur atomic number is 16. First we write for 16 and 2 minus means 2 electrons are gained. So let us see again, it also will come the same way. So that is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p4 actually for sulfur because it is 16 and as it gained 2 electrons, 3s, 3p6. So second one is also same. Third one, Mg plus 2. So Z is equal to 12 and it is losing 2 electrons. So it has the nearest kinetic gas configuration that is neon. So it is 10. So 1s2, 2s2, 2p6 completely filled. Next fourth one, H minus. H minus means hydrogen is losing 1 electron. There is no configuration because it is 1s0. Actually H should be 1s1, but it is 0. So there is no configuration for fourth one. So I hope this is clear. Now we'll see the configurations. So you can see here. H minus is gaining 1 electron. Sorry, H is 1 electron and it is gaining 1 more electron. So it is 1s2. Correct. Fourth one is 1s2. Total configuration is 2. So in this way you have to do it. So I hope this is clear. Writing configuration for ions. Ions writing configuration. If they are gaining electrons, then they'll get negative charge. And if the elements loses electron, they'll get positive charge. So how many electrons they are losing? That is number is given 2 plus 1 plus like that. So if they have given 2 plus for any given atom, we should remove 2 electrons from it. If they have given 2 minus, we have to add 2 electrons from it. I hope this is clear. Next. Next topic in this chapter. So electronic configuration is important. You'll get definitely questions from electronic configuration. What type of questions you'll get also we'll see. So now a recap of quantum mechanical model. So just a recap. So electrons are associated with wave nature and it can be described by a wave function psi. Psi represents the amplitude of the wave of electron and psi square represents the probability of density of electrons. Node is a region where the probability of finding the electron is 0 and how to find number of radial nodes n minus l minus 1. And number of nodes in an orbital is n minus 1. Number of radial nodes n minus l minus 1. Number of planar nodes 1. All these three formulas are important. Mark important over here. Three formulas. Number of planar nodes is equal to L. L is called azimuthal quantum number. L is equal to azimuthal quantum number. Now examples. So the wave function, explain the meaning of psi 320. 320 means it is nothing but 320. That is NLM notation. Always psi is in the form of NLM notation. NLM. So you can see the answer now. So n is equal to 3, L is equal to 2, M is equal to 0. The electron is in 3 dz square orbital because for M is equal to 0, it is dz orbital. pz and dz, m is equal to 0. Very important, note down here. For pz orbital, m is equal to 0, and dz square also, m is equal to 0. dz square, m is equal to 0. So these 2 points you have to remember. In the objective point of view, it's important. So NML and LM notation. Next, calculate the number of radial nodes and angular nodes for the following orbitals. So already we know radial nodes is formula. What is the formula? Number of n minus l minus 1, and angular nodes is L. So straight away you can get n minus l minus 1, and it is equal to L. Correct. So use these formulas, you'll get the answer. For example, 2s orbital, number of radial nodes is 2 minus 0 minus 1. So 1, and it is equal to L, so it is 0. For s orbital, L is equal to 0, 1 comma 0. For 3p also you can do the same formula. N 3 minus p orbital L is equal to 1 minus 1. 3 minus 1 minus 1, it is equal to 1, comma, and for p orbital L value is equal to 1, so it is 1 comma 1. So remaining 2 also you can do it. So I hope you can understand this. This type of questions are important for competitive exams. Next question. Very important concept, isoelectronic species. So which are the following are isoelectronic species, they will ask in the examination. So the atoms of iron having same number of electrons are known as isoelectronic species. So example, if we take in case of O2 minus F minus neon Na plus Mg plus 2. What is the atomic number of oxygen? 8. O2 minus means it is gaining 2 electrons. So 8 plus 2, 10 electrons. I'm showing it here. So O2 minus means what? Here, O2 minus. So oxygen atomic number is 8. So it is gaining 2 electrons. So it is becoming 10. Fluorine minus also 9 plus 1, 10. Neon is already, we know it is atomic number is 10. It has 10 electrons because it has no charge. So only 10. Sodium ions atomic number 11. So 11 minus 1 because plus 1. 11 minus 1 is become 10. Similarly, magnesium also Mg plus 2. 12 minus 2, which is equal to 10. So all these are elements, all these species, not elements, these are all species. All these species have same number of electrons. That's why they are called as isoelectronic species. What are isoelectronic species? The atoms or ions having same number of electrons are known as isoelectronic species. I hope this is clear. Next. Which are the following ions are isoelectronic? Isoelectronic means you can just see here. There have been so many. Sodium plus atomic number is 11. It contains 10. This is 19 minus 1, 18. Because potassium atomic number is 19. Magnesium 10 and 12 minus 2, 10. Calcium 20 minus 2, 18. So sulfide ion 18 because 16 plus 2. Argon is 18. Neon is 10. And Cl minus is 18. Because chlorine 17 atomic number and minus is 1 more electron, 18. F minus, F is 9 and it is gaining 1 more electron, it is 10. So you can separate them. Sodium Na plus, Mg plus 2, neon, F minus are isoelectronic, and K plus, Ca plus 2, S2 minus, argon, and Cl minus are also isoelectronic. So I hope you can understand this question. Easy it is. You can see the answer now. As I told you, contain 10 electron each, and these are the 5 species which contain 18 electron each. Is it clear now? Next question. So next is very important final topic in this chapter, that is spin only magnetic moments of ions. How to calculate magnetic moment? The electrons will spin around its own axis in addition to evolution around the nucleus. This already we know. That's why we'll take spin quantum number S is equal to plus half or minus half. So the electrons will spin around its own axis in addition to the evolution around the nucleus. Already we know electron will evolve around the nucleus. The same way, It also spin around itself also. So it is spinning around itself. So electrons spin, and in addition to the revolution around the nucleus. Due to the spinning of electrons, the ions or atoms will have spin-only magnetic moment. This is called spin-only magnetic moment, which is calculated by using the formula mu is equal to root of n into n plus 2 Bohr magneton. The Bohr magneton, Bm, is called Bohr magneton, and one Bohr magneton is equal to Eh by 4 pi mc. Now, what is n here? N is not principal quantum number, it is number of unpaired electrons. Number of unpaired electrons, very, very important. If you don't know the orbital diagram of electrons, you cannot identify how many unpaired electrons. So to find unpaired electrons, we should definitely know the orbital diagram of electrons. Orbital diagram of electrons. How to calculate unpaired electrons? By using orbital diagram of electrons. That is based on Hund's rule. Orbital diagram of electrons. So this concept is most important, and in this way you can find number of unpaired electrons. Let us see one example now. The orbital angular momentum of electron in an orbital is given by root of L into L plus 1 into h by 2 pi. This already we know. So L is equal to azimuthal quantum number. Next, example 5. Calculate the spin only magnetic moment of the following ions. Now I'm going to solve this question. Fe plus 3 is given. Fe plus 3 first. We'll write Fe plus 3. Atomic number of ion is 26. Here the solution I'm writing. Atomic number of ion is 26. And from these 3 electrons are removed, it is 3. So for this, if you write the configuration, argon, after argon 18, we have how many still left? 5. So it is 3d5. 3d5. Why? Because actually the configuration of 26 is argon 3d5 4s 3d6 4s2. 3d6 4s2, but we have removed 2 electrons from s orbital, because only 2 electrons we can remove from s orbital, that is 4s. So if you want, I can write that also for you. First one, actual configuration of ion is ion configuration Fe is equal to Fe configuration. Again, I'm writing for your understanding. Argon 3d6 4s2. Since it is removing 3 electrons, that is 2 from s orbital and 1 from d orbital, so the final configuration becomes 3d5. Now, if you know the orbital diagram for this is 3d5, I'm drawing the orbital diagram for 3d5. Yes, this is the orbital diagram for 3d5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, and 5. So, how the 5 electrons will fill up? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No pairing, because it contains all 5 unpaired electrons. So from this we can write number of unpaired electrons is equal to n is equal to 5. Since n is equal to 5, spin magnetic moment is equal to mu is equal to 5 into 5 plus 2. Mu is equal to 5 into 5 plus 2. That is 5 7 35. So 35 Bohr magneton. Or you can say 5.7, 5.9 Bohr magneton. 5.9 Bohr magneton. So this is called spin only magnetic moment of Fe plus 3. Similarly, you can do for Mn plus 2. So 5.91 Bohr magneton. Mn plus 2 also we have same 35, 5.91. And Cr plus 3, we have only 3 unpaired electrons. So for Cr plus 3 also you can find, and Cu plus also, since you know the atomic numbers. The Cr plus 3 means 3d5 4s1. From D you will get 2, and S you will get 1. So only 3d3 will be there. 3 electrons means 3 unpaired electrons. Root of 3 into 3 plus 2. Like that you will get. So, and for Cu plus you see here, Cu plus, what is the configuration of Cu plus? Means from copper 1 electron is removed. Actually, you know copper configuration, argon 3d10 4s1, and in that one electron is removed, means then it becomes argon 3d10 only. So all are paired electrons, because completely filled up d orbitals. So it is as n is equal to 0. So answer is 0. I hope this is clear for you. This type of questions are very important for objective point of view. Next example. Calculate the orbital angular momentum. Orbital angular momentum of the electron in the following orbitals. So for this orbital angular momentum, what is the formula? Root of L into L plus 1 and H by 2 pi is outside. So now first one and second one I'll solve it for you. Then you can do the remaining easily. So first one 3s orbital. So for 3s L is equal to 0. So it becomes 0 into 0 plus 1. That is equal to 0 into 0 plus 1 into H by 2 pi. So answer is H by 2 pi because H by 2 pi. Next second one 4p L is equal to 1 root of L is equal to 1 means 1 into 1 plus 1 root 3 into H by 2 pi. 1 plus 1 2, so 2 into 1 2, so it is root 2 H by 2 pi. Can be written as also can be written H by root 2 pi. H by root 2 into pi outside. Yes, this is the second one. Third one also you can do. Fourth one 3D L is equal to how much for 3D? L is equal to 2 and F orbital L is equal to 3. So principal quantum number it is not required. So you can use these formulas. So answers are given here. 0, A is 0, B is H by root 2 pi, C is root 3 by 2 H by pi, and 4 is root 3 H by pi. So A is 0 because root of 0 into 0 plus 1. Root of 0 into 0 plus 1. 0 into 1 is 0. So it is total, it is 0. So I hope it is clear. Yes. Next question. Radial probability distribution function. This is very important topic for advanced level. The radial probability is the total probability of finding the electron in radial shell between spheres of radii r and dr, where dr is infinitesimally small distance. So the volume of this spherical shell can be shown by simple calculation to be equal to 4 pi r square dr. So only they are asking how to find out radial probability distribution, that is equal to 4 pi r square dr. In this nothing is to be remembered because this is very complicated topic, and anyway this topic is not there for NCERT point of view. Only the formula is important. So 4 pi r square dr, because Schrödinger equation more detail we'll have it in PG. So these graphs are, as I already told you, these graphs are important for 1s orbital, 2s orbital, 2p orbital. The 4 pi r square graph is 1s orbital, 2s orbital, and 2p orbital. So these graphs are most important. You have to remember because in the examination they are asking radial distribution curve for 1s, 2s, 2p, 3p, and 3d also. So radial probability distribution is equal to radial probability density into volume of the radial shell, r square into 4 pi r square dr. The plots of radial probability distribution function against r is different for different orbitals. Next, no need to think more about this. So this entire lectures are finished for atomic structure. Now I'm writing summary of the lecture sheet, summary of the chapter. Very, very important. Just note down what we have done in atomic structure, which are important topics. First one we have from the topics we have cathode rays properties, cathode rays and anode rays properties, only statement based question. Cathode rays and anode rays properties. So if you could concentrate on these topics, definitely can able to answer objective questions clearly. Second one, after cathode ray and anode ray experiments, we have discovery of electrons, protons, and neutrons. E-beam ratio of electrons. E-beam ratio of electrons, protons and neutrons. Electrons and protons only. Of electrons and protons is important. Next, third one, we have electromagnetic radiations. From electromagnetic radiations, we have photoelectric effect is important. Electromagnetic radiations. Based on this X-rays, gamma rays, radio waves, etc., the wavelengths and frequency is important. So electromagnetic radiations and photoelectric effect is most important. Photoelectric effect, definitely you'll get one question. So all the different models of photoelectric effect we have done. So you can do more questions in Jayendra material. Next, fourth one, we have Rutherford atomic model, but that is not that much important. So straight away we have Bose model and hydrogen spectrum. Very, very important. Bose model and hydrogen spectrum. Bose model and Hadron spectrum, very, very important. In Bose model, they'll ask us to find energy of electron in the nth orbit, energy of electron in the nth orbit, radius of electron in the nth orbit, radius of orbit, sorry, energy of electron, radius of orbit, and velocity of electron in the nth orbit, as well as orbit angular momentum, and the Rydberg's equation. Rydberg's equation is most important. From Rydberg's equation, you will get questions. We have done many questions based on this. You can do more questions from this. Again, I'm attaching worksheet for this also, so that you can do it. Orbital angular momentum and so on. And finally, we have electronic configurations. I want to add one more slide based on electronic configuration. Just I'm writing electronic configuration. What type of questions you'll get from electronic configurations, I want to tell you. Question number one. First question. Which of the following contains maximum number of unpaired electrons? Which of the following contains maximum number of unpaired electrons? So you know how to find unpaired electrons, which we have done in the last. Second question. Which of the following contains maximum magnetic moment? Which of the following contains maximum magnetic moment? So what is the formula for finding magnetic moment? We know that is root of mu is equal to root of n into n plus 2. Third question. Which of the following are expected to be colored? Which of the following are expected to be colored? So in this case, how to find which of the following are expected to be colored? If they have unpaired electrons, they are said to be colored. So in bracket, I'm writing the answer. If they have unpaired electrons. If they have unpaired electrons, they are expected to be colored. They have unpaired electrons. Either it can be 1, 2, and so on. So if they have unpaired electrons, they are said to be colored. Next, which of the following is expected to be colorless? Fourth question. Which of the following, question number 4, based on electron configuration, which of the following are expected? They'll give 4 options for this also. Are expected to be colorless. So if they do not have unpaired electrons, they are said to be colorless. If they do not have no unpaired electrons, colorless. Or 0 unpaired electrons, colorless. So next, last question from this electron configuration, they'll ask 5th question. So total all these 5 questions they can ask in the objective pattern. You can see NEET questions or JEE Mains. Every year you will be getting from this type of questions only from electronic configuration concept. And last question, which of the following is the electronic configuration? Stable ground state configuration. Ground state configuration of atoms or ions, they'll ask. Of ground state configuration of chromium, copper, etc. Ground state configuration of atom or ions. Or ions also they'll ask. Ions means either by losing electron or by gaining electron. So I hope this is the recap of the chapter. All these areas you have to work out, and whichever in the lecture I told, Just follow that notes. And first, whenever you see the slide, when you open the lecture, that slide you have to write down, and afterwards followed by the slide, whatever problems I have discussed, that also you have to practice. And after learning all these things, straight away you can open any objective book and you can do either JNR material or any other competitive objective book from outside the market, and you can do comfortably all these questions, all the questions given in that set of questions. And apart from this, I'm attaching one worksheet also for this, and you have to do that worksheet compulsory. In that also I have given hints and solutions. Okay, I hope this chapter is useful for you, and it's very, very important. Every year definitely you'll get, every competitive exam you'll get definitely one question. So this chapter is composed of 6 lectures. So I hope you understood clearly. Thank you all.